In this video, we will see first fit, best fit, worst fit, and next fit allocation strategies. For both fixed and dynamic memory allocation schemes, the operating system must keep list of each memory location, noting which are free and which are busy. Then, as new jobs come into the system, the free partitions must be allocated. These partitions may be allocated by four ways: first fit, best fit, worst fit, and next fit memory allocation. And these are contiguous memory allocation techniques. First, we will see first fit memory allocation. This method keeps the free and busy list of jobs organized by memory allocation, low ordered to high ordered memory. In this method, first job claims the first available memory with space more than or equal to its size. The operating system does not search for appropriate partition but just allocate the job to the nearest memory partition available with sufficient size. So all we have to remember is memory allocated memory size with space more than or equal to its size. Here we have an example to understand the first fit memory allocation. We have four jobs, job 1, 2, 3 and 4 with memory request. Here we can see first we have to accommodate 20 kilobyte of memory requested size for job 1. Here we have memory block sizes, available memory block sizes 200 KB, 30 KB, 700 KB and 50 KB. Now for a block size of 20 KB, we need equal to 20 KB or more than 20 KB. So first available free block here is 200 KB. So we allocate 200 KB to the process that needs only 20 KB. So which leads to internal fragmentation 180 KB. So we allocated a block which is first block which is equal or more than the size of the requested memory. Now we have to allocate memory for 200 KB. Here the next available block is 30 KB, which is less than the requested memory. So we go for next block which is 700 KB, which is more than the requested memory. So the problem here is we are going to allocate a memory which is equal or greater than the requested memory. So we allocate 700 KB of size memory block size to 200 KB job size, which leads to 500 kilobytes of internal fragmentation, which is not used by the job. And then next job 3. So we have to accommodate 500 kilobytes of memory, requested memory, to any block size here. Since we have already allocated 700 kilobytes of memory to 200 KB, we cannot accommodate job 3 to any available block size. So here job 3 cannot be accommodated. Next we have 50 KB and the next available block here is 30 KB and 50 KB. So we allocate 50 kilobytes of memory block size to the requested memory. So here the entire memory block size available is 980 KB and we are going to use only 270 kilobyte, and the internal fragmentation in total 680 kilobyte, and also job 3 cannot be accommodated. As illustrated here, the system assigns J1 to the nearest position in the memory. As a result, there is no partition with sufficient space is available for J3 and it is placed in the waiting list. This is a problem with the first fit memory allocation. Next we will see the advantages of first fit memory allocation. It is fast in processing, as the processor allocates the nearest available memory partition to the job. It is very fast in execution. And the disadvantages of first fit allocation includes it wastes a lot of memory. As we have already seen, the internal fragmentation here is 680 kilobytes. The processor ignores if the size of the partition allocated to the job is very large as compared to the size of the job or not. It just allocates the memory. As a result, a lot of memory is wasted and many jobs may not get the space in the memory and would have to wait for another job to complete. Next, we will see best fit allocation in operating system. This method keeps the free and busy list in order by size, smallest to largest. In this method, the operating system first searches the whole of the memory according to the size of the given jobs and allocates it to the closest fitting free partition. Here you can see closest fitting free partition in the memory, making it able to use memory efficiently. Here the jobs are in the order from the smallest job to the largest job. Here we are going to use the same example we use in the first fit allocation. Here we can see first process here is 20k. We have to allocate 20k. Here we have block sizes 200k, 30k, 17k and 700k and 50k. So the closest fitting block is 30 kilobyte. So job 1 is allocated to 30 kilobyte, which leads to only 10 kilobyte of internal fragmentation. And then 200 kilobyte needed for job 2, and we already have 200 kilobyte exact closest fitting and exact memory block size 200 kilobyte. So J2, which need 200 KB allocated to this block. Now we have next requested memory job 3, which is 500, and 500 is allocated to closest. 700 is closest to 500, so 700 kilobyte is allocated to 500 kilobytes, and you can see only 200 KB of internal fragmentation. And then 50 KB size needed for job 4, which is allocated to exactly 50 kilobytes of memory block size, and which leads to 0 kilobytes of internal fragmentation. So in total available 980 kilobyte, we used 770 kilobytes and very less internal fragmentation of 210 kilobytes. As illustrated in this figure, the operating system first search throughout the memory and allocate the job to the minimum possible memory partition, making the memory allocation efficient. The advantages of best fit allocation here, it is memory efficient. The operating system allocates the job minimum possible space in the memory, making memory management very efficient. To save memory from getting wasted, it is the best method. And disadvantage of best fit allocation is it is a slow process. Checking the whole memory for each jobs makes the working of the operating system very slow. It takes a lot of time to complete this work. Next, we will see worst fit memory allocation. In this allocation technique, the processor traverses the whole memory and always search for the largest hole or partition. Here you have to remember largest hole or partition, and then the process is placed in that hole or partition. It is a slow process because it has to traverse the entire memory to search for the largest hole. Here we have an example to understand worst fit memory allocation. 3 jobs P1, P2 and P3 and the memory requested are given. Here you can see the block sizes or memory available block sizes are 50, 100 and 400 kilobytes. Now we have to look for 30 kilobytes. The largest free memory that is available in this requested blocks here, 400 kilobytes. So we allocate 400 kilobytes to 30 kilobytes of process, which leads to 370 kilobytes of internal fragmentation. And the next process is requesting 100 kilobytes, and the largest hole that can accommodate this 100k is 100 kilobyte. So we allocate process 2 to 100k block, and which leads to 0 kilobytes of internal fragmentation. And then 45 kilobytes needed for process 3, and largest block which is available to accommodate 45 KB is 50 KB, and we accommodate process 3 to 50 KB, which leads to 5k internal fragmentation. So total available memory is here 550 kilobytes. We are going to use only 175 kilobytes, which leads to 375 kilobytes of internal fragmentation. Here process P1 is 30k. Process P1 30k is allocated with the worst fit allocation technique. So it travels the entire memory and selects memory size 400 kilobyte, which is the largest, and hence there is an internal fragmentation of 370k, which is very large, and so many other processors can also utilize the leftover space. The advantages of worst fit allocation, since this process chooses the largest hole or partition, therefore there will be a large internal fragmentation. Now, this internal fragmentation will be quite big so that other small processes can also be placed in the leftover partition. Disadvantages here, it is a slow process because it traverses all the partitions in the memory and then selects the largest partition among all the partitions, which is a time consuming process. Next, we will see next fit allocation. Next fit is a modified version of first fit. It begins as the first fit to find a free partition, but when called next time, it starts searching from where it left off, not from the beginning. This policy makes use of a rovering pointer. The pointer moves along the memory chain to search for a next fit. This helps in to avoid the usage of memory always from the head of the free block chain. And what is the advantages of next fit over first fit? First fit is a straight and fast algorithm but tends to cut large portion of free parts into small pieces, due to which processes that need a large portion of memory block would not get anything even if the sum of all pieces together all pieces is greater than it required, which is so called external fragmentation problem. Another problem of the first fit is that it tends to allocate memory parts at the beginning of the memory, which may lead to more internal fragments at the beginning. Next fit tries to address this problem by starting the search for the free portion of part, not from the start of the memory but from where it ends last time. Next fit is a very fast searching algorithm, and it's also comparatively faster than first fit and best fit memory management algorithm. Here, these are the techniques we have discussed in this session. We will meet in next session. Thank you all.